Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CLX Foundry Live, where we go deep inside builds and assemble them from the ground up. And today we've got a really great show for you. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and of course, joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it's none other than freshly baby-faced, shaven Paul Steffens, and of course, our master builder today. It is Zach Killingsworth, and Paul Steffens, our lead technical expert. I'm still not used to looking at you like that.
Yeah. It's coming back a little
so we've got a great show. Slowly but surely. Well, we've got a great show. We've got everybody on all the platforms. Hello to all of you people. We got a fun thing to do, but the first thing I want to talk to you about real quick is our giveaway. This month's giveaway is absolutely amazing for February. And if you want to find out more, all you have to do is type !give Flora in the chat. Try it out right now. It's a lot of fun. In there, you'll be able to find out all the different places that you want to look, see, link, like, and others. But there's also a spot down at the bottom once you get all the top stuff done that goes for codes. Now, codes are amazing things because they come in many different colors and they're worth many different entry points. But here's the fun part. Everybody gets to use them. Now, where can you find those codes? On Tuesdays, you can find those codes over on Kick at kick.com/CLXgaming. On Thursdays, you can find them right here on twitch.tv/CLXgamingTV. You can find them on our socials. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads over at CLX Gaming. You could even possibly find them inside of our Discord, and that's discord.gg/CLXgaming. Guess what? You can also find them on my shows, which usually happen at, 4 days a week. But with that being said, we've got something amazing and brand new today. We are premiering this case, which should be going live eventually at some point. But this is a brand new O11. It's an O11 Evo XL. Now, I've never seen one of these before, and I didn't really see until now. You guys, between you guys, holy cow, that is huge.
Yes. Yeah, it is a big O11.
Yes.
Well, I looked at, when I saw the pictures in pre-show, I was noticing, if you take a look, everybody, I have 2 USB ports on the bottom edge of my foot down there because I have just an O11 XL. There are 5 here. 5. So I'm excited to see how much space we have in this thing. And of course, it's our wonderful Sakura edition. Sakura. I think I said it wrong. So let's talk about what we're putting in this thing.
All right, so inside of this build today, we're going to be putting a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D for our processor. We're going to be upgrading the thermal paste on that since we're going to run some tests on it. To cool that, we've got the Corsair H150i Elite. This is the 360 AIO. You've seen it a couple times on the show if you watched before. This is in white. And for our motherboard, we've got the Asus Strix X670E-A gaming Wi-Fi for our motherboard. And for our memory, we've got 2 sticks of XPG Lancer. These are 16 gigabyte DDR5 6000 speed. These are in white as well with RGB on the heat spreaders. For our storage, we've got a couple options. So our main drive is going to be a Samsung 1TB 980 Pro NVMe M.2. And then we've got a secondary Seagate 4TB Barracuda hard disk drive for some extra storage. For our video card, we've got a Gigabyte RTX 4070. And we're also going to be putting in an Elgato capture card. Obviously, the case is the brand new O11 Evo XL. There's a lot of words that go in there. So we'll be talking a lot about this case here in a little bit. For our fans, we've got 10 of the Corsair 120mm AF RGB Elites in white. And then we've also got a 1300 watt power supply from EVGA. This is the GT, and then we've got a white cable mod kit to go with that.
Oh, that's the one I have.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one I got. Awesome. Well, we're super excited to get this started, especially considering we've never taken this apart before. I'm going to assume that this is just as easy as the other O11s in its design.
Yeah.
Just top off, and God, it's gorgeous.
Yes, this
Lots of ventilation there.
There's a lot of differences with this case and the XL that we'll be going over. But just starting with the panels, it's kind of like a combination of the XL and then the dynamic Evo, whereas this back panel has no screws, it just pops in. But that side panel, you can see Zach's taking the screw out of there. Overall looks the same, but like you said, it is a lot bigger than the original XL.
Yeah, because I think just the O11 XL has, it's just slide on for the glass panels.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, look at the size of this thing. Now, when it comes to motherboards, well, let's start with, what are some cool things that you've noticed about this case that you really like?
So, aside from the size, I like that it's big. We can fit everything in it. And Zach's built a couple of these already.
Oh, nice.
Just one. So something that stands out to me
for me
is these hard drive bays. They actually swivel out of the case.
Shut up.
Yep. And now they do have the cables pre-wired in, so they are hot swappable like the original XL. But I think it's kind of cool that this is there. And they just go back in. Pretty nice.
I dig it.
And then
that is absolutely amazing.
Like the other Evos, if you want to set this up in a different configuration, this back panel here, you can take these screws out and move it all around. So if you're using a different motherboard, maybe you've got a giant cooler, you can shift this whole thing down a little bit to make more room in the top, or put it up top if you want more room in the bottom. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this case.
We do have a couple questions coming in, and by the way, we see you all, but welcome in over on the green side, the purple side, the red side, the blue side, and the TikTok side. I don't know what color TikTok is, but we're just going to call it the talkers. So, with that being said, that thing is huge. It's enormous. I'm excited. Now, this motherboard that we're going to be jumping into is a ROG Strix X670EA gaming Wi-Fi board. Now, this, I believe, is the same board we used on Tuesday's show, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that one might have been. It's very similar.
No,
I think it was a Dash F.
Very similar.
But
not
very
quite
similar. Yeah. Which I honestly, I'm not even sure what the differences are between the two. Once we get it open, we might spot some.
So here's a question. You mentioned that they can be adjusted for multiple different sizes. So what different sizes of motherboards can fit inside of this case?
So with this being as big of a case that it is, you can fit any size of motherboard in here. So obviously we have the standard ATX motherboard that Zach's working on right now. This case can fit an eATX, which is extended ATX, so a little bit bigger, a little bit wider than the board we're using. And obviously it can fit an MATX and an ITX as well.
Nice. Awesome. Well, this beautiful board comes with a lot of little plastic pieces because they really wanted to take care of it. Obviously, it's a ROG Strix. It's got the most wonderful little addition to all things, and that's what Zach's touching right there. It's called the button. Zach, what's that button do?
So it quick release unlocks our graphics card. So the way a lot of motherboards have been coming lately is we've got a super sweet, awesome heat sink on top of our M.2, on top of our PCI slot. So it makes it a lot easier to have to get your finger down there, and instead of crack it open like that, all you have to do is just doop, and it unlocks.
Awesome. All right, so while we're taking a look at this beautiful motherboard, let's drop and pop over to its side, to its I/O panel real fast. I just want to show everybody what this thing's got. Now, actually, this I think has even more ports than the other one we did on Tuesday. So up at the top, you've obviously got your HDMI and your display port. Then you go down there, and there are 8 total USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. You've got one USB 3.2 Gen 2 2x2, and that is the USB-C that's down underneath the 2.5 gig Ethernet LAN port. You've got 2 USB 2s, because why not? Another USB-C that's obviously part of that 3.2 Gen 2. And then, yeah, you've got your Wi-Fi 6E. You've got your full 5 optic surround sound doohickeys, and there you go. Yeah, this seems to have more ports on it. I will definitely say that. The last one didn't have that many ports. I think we had 6 on the last one. This one had 8.
Okay.
So, cool stuff. Speaking of things that are cool, let's also talk about what we're shoving in here to run this beast. And this is the AMD Ryzen 9. It is a 7950X3D. Paul, what can you tell us about this processor that sets it aside?
Yeah, so this is the new top of the line from AMD here. I believe we used one of these on Tuesday as well. So 7950X3D, it's a 16-core, 32-thread processor with a base speed of 4.2, and it will boost up to 5.7. So very fast processor. It also uses their 3D technology, so you've got the cache stored on top of the die, which allows you to fit more on there, which is always good.
Nice. Now, one thing we always encourage, if you have questions about something you hear, something that we say, something that we've been doing, or something that you've experienced with your PC build, ask away. I do want to cover a few things. People were asking if the beard is going to make an appearance today. The answer to that question is obviously no. It is an absolutely beautiful case, and I'm excited for other designs we're going to make it available for that. I think that'll be cool. Cosworth brings up the point that we are going to be using a mechanical drive. Yes, we are. Roby just gave out a Sakura yesterday. Nice. Let's see here. So here's Rezaface has our first question of the day. Here we go. I've always wondered this, but does built-in Wi-Fi in a motherboard offer better performance than an external Wi-Fi dongle?
So typically it's going to be right on par with whatever the current stuff is. Now when you get a higher end motherboard like this one, it's going to be at the leading edge of that Wi-Fi. So this is going to be, I believe it's 6E right now. It's going to have Wi-Fi, it's going to have Bluetooth on it. And really all this is this just got an M.2 Wi-Fi card plugged into a slot right behind the I.O. shield. They just do that at the factory.
Let's see here. Yes, Halfcrips may have ordered the O11. I don't think we don't have the Evo XLs on the site yet, to my knowledge. But God, this is a beautiful drive. We'll get that processor in there. Obviously, we've got to put in our brackets for the way that we're going to cool it, and that is going to be with a Corsair iQ H150i Elite LCD XT360 AIO. And what's great about this is that it already comes to brackets attached.
Yeah, so right out of the box, this comes with the Intel brackets. Obviously, it does include the other hardware, which is what Zach's separating out right now. So we will be swapping what you're looking at that I'm holding right now.
Nice. Uh-oh.
Don't worry, I've worked in dark rooms before, so...
With nothing but our phones to light you up with. That's great. Now, this is obviously a new product for us. We like to use AIOs a lot. It's one of the biggest ways that we cool things. But this is brand new AIO. What are some of the features of this, Paul?
So probably the thing that stands out the most from other AIOs, and some other AIOs that have this, is it does have an LCD screen. Now, default, this is going to show your temperatures, but you could program this to really do anything. You could run your favorite GIF. We've seen them with like Baby Yoda GIFs and all that on them, so you can do a whole lot with this.
Nice. I love it. I think it's great. Okay. So up next, and of course, I want to make sure I got through all the questions. There we are. I am officially caught up. There we go. Concepts over on the green side asks, why are motherboards not coming standard with a TV3 or TV4 port?
I think
hold on. Let me back up and ask an even better question. What is a TV3 or a TV4 port?
Yes, that's a Thunderbolt connection, which
got it. Okay.
You know, back in the day when Thunderbolt was first coming out, it's kind of like Thunderbolt or FireWire versus USB. FireWire is the first one to lose. It's kind of like how, what was the competitor to VHS? I don't even remember.
No.
Beta.
It's
Beta.
It's Blu-ray and HDD.
There you go, yeah. So it's kind of one of those where USB obviously won that war. Thunderbolt's still a great transfer thing. I think a lot of Mac products use Thunderbolt, so it's still a good protocol.
Old printer connector too.
Oh, right. But it's honestly, it's probably just not taken off in popularity that much, and that's why you don't see it built in.
Now, I do know that some USB-C cables are USB-C and Thunderbolt. Is that correct?
I believe so. But you could check me on that.
The back of my board. Hang on, let me look at the ports real quick. I think I have one. Yeah. So on the ROG Maximus formula, there is one. Sorry, I had to look.
There you go.
Which is weird, but
We could put a picture of me
Travis,
on the LCD screen on the AI.
right, they're gonna put just your floating beard,
Yeah.
just that in rotation. They will put that into game dev mode. It's the same port for USB-C, so you can use USB-C on a Thunderbolt port. Gotcha concepts. Thank you. Appreciate that. Because yeah, I know that on my MacBook Pro here, because this is only a year old, and it has Thunderbolts on it. But that's also Mac. So, jumping back over to, wait a minute. Yes. Jumping back over to what we're going to be shoving in next. These are awesome. I love these when it comes to memory. This is 16 gig 6 of A data, DDR5 6000, total of 32 gigs. I'm loving the fact that we've got white RAM that's matching up with white boards. If my RAM ever dies, I'm switching all this out to white ones. Baby CC, hello, welcome back. Good to have you here. I feel like we're doing well. Now, the one thing you always got to worry about is where you're going to put your operating system. Well, for this build, we're going to put this in a 1 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro. It's a PCI 4 NVMe SSD. This plugs directly into the board, so it has a faster interface. What kind of performance difference do you think you'll see using an M.2 versus using, say, a solid state or a mechanical drive?
Yeah, so using one of these, I mean, they're just blazing fast. You typically notice the biggest difference on load screens. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with them now, but when they first came out, I mean, we can all remember back in the day when you had to wait a couple minutes for your system to boot up, and now it's seconds. So
That's okay.
Yeah.
What?
That is
You don't
true.
like turning
Now,
your
what-
computer on, going making a cup of coffee, coming back, logging in, going to the bathroom, coming back, making sure that
Right,
everything's
and
loaded up right.
And the wheel is spinning.
Yeah.
One thing that's really nice to note about this is that your bracket for actually mounting your your M.2 doesn't require a screw. It's just got a little flip on it, which makes it so much easier and less problematic. And then you just screw your hot plate back down or your thermal plate, and it locks right in. I really do love the theming of this. I'm gonna laugh when the first company finally goes for a full white PCB, because that could be interesting.
yeah, we've definitely seen it before.
Cy Bartholomew over on the blue side. Hello, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Those guys going that way.
So now the key is trying to figure out exactly how we're going to be mounting all these things. We've got lots of different fan options. But as for our fans, we're going to be using 10. Are these D30s?
These
Corsairs.
are Corsairs. These are the AF RGB Elites.
Nice. Those are gorgeous. Jeez. Now, when it comes to aligning these, do these have any type of a special connection, like we've seen with the HF120s or with the D30s?
So this kind of comes back to more of a standard cable where we have one pin that goes to our controller box. This is what controls the RGB, and then a standard 4-pin fan connector that powers and spins the fans.
Gotcha. Nice. One Dash over on the green side asks, have you guys seen the Lian Li 011 VC? It's the 011 Vision Chrome Aluminum Steel Mirror TG ATX mid-tower case. One Dash, no, but everything you just said makes me want to figure out what the heck that is, because I'm excited. Anytime that it's reflective and shiny, I'm down.
Yeah, I actually just saw one of those. I believe it's got like glass panels all around, even the top. And I'm sure there's some other differences in that as well, but
Let's see here. Ooh.
I don't know how I feel about a glass top panel. I think I'd rather have
Acrylic.
something mesh or something.
Bring
I'd let it
back the
breathe.
thousands.
Yeah.
Acrylic.
That is unique because it looks like you can sort of see through it. Sort of. Kind of. That's impressive.
This thing goes up there.
Ibby, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm not sure how. Yeah, I would definitely say you probably should take that up with. Oh darn it! What's the name of the company we're using?
Gleam?
Gleam. Take that up, but also try logging out, logging back in, killing the cache, all that jazz. Let's see here. We got some more questions. Oh my God! I looked away for a second. And my nephew was on the table. That is a unfortunate situation.
We've got a black hole.
Ninja Wolfie Thing, or Ninja Wolf Thingy. Sorry, Ninja Wolfie Thing is a different person. It says, are you guys personally skilled at working on electronics as a broad topic, or do you guys only know how to work on a PC? I know how to work on PCs, not to this level, but I know how to at least take care of basic stuff. My technical experience was mostly electronics involved with military-grade weapons. Guys, you guys are both very adept at most electronics.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, obviously, we're good with everything PCs. I've dabbled a little in the other stuff. Pretty much, if it's got a PCB board, once you're familiar with that and soldering, it kind of translates to TVs, old Game Boy games, everything across the board there. So.
Ibby, yes, you'll get emailed. Go ahead, Zach.
Yes, my family is big on tech. My 8-year-old niece every Sunday cracks out her electronic board. And it's like one of those ones, like you put all the parts together and make circuits and turn lights on and make sounds. And
oh yeah,
I had one of those as a kid.
Yeah,
those are fun.
And now it's like so cooler. Like Mom has gotten her like 3 expansion packs to it, so like she can build like robots and like
awesome.
blow up balloons and stuff. Yeah, so we like
that's legitimately
we like tinkering around. Facts.
Esmer, what's going on over on the purple side? Says, I have a question. So when you purchase the graphic cards, does the GB from the graphics, is the GB from the graphics important? Yeah, so are you talking about how much video RAM there's available? Because I think that's the question.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, that is important. You want to first look at what games you want to play with it and how much how much VRAM those games require. It's always good to go with a little bit more than what you need. So, yep, that is something to look at. But more importantly is the actual model of the card. So 4060, 4070, 4080. 6600, 7600, 7800, and on up, and then so that takes priority, and then you want to look at the actual capacity on those cards.
Nice. Yeah, because I think my 3090 has 24 gigs. Yeah. Now, just looking at this, what is this? This is just a 3-fan top, right? It's not
Correct.
A potentially 4-fan.
Okay, it's so big because this is perfect. So this top rail is always going to be stationary. This is going to be our 120 line. Our line underneath that's going to be our 140 line.
Oh, so it's always the same on one side and the others just kind of adjust. Interesting.
So it allows for bigger fans, but less of them. But I think it would be 3. I think this can just hold 3 120s or 3 140s straight, because that looks about the same size.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's quite enough room. Yeah. Maybe you can cram 4 in there, but it's funny how big this case is and how it makes a 360 like, oh look, there's more room around it. It kind of makes it look small.
It looks tiny comparatively. If we can go back to that last shot, I have some questions about what I'm seeing there, and Paul, maybe you can answer what these are for. So if you're looking at the back of the rear, there's a couple little, looks like latches or hatches.
Down right here?
Yeah, those. What are those?
So what this does is this is what is actually holding in your cards when you get them installed. Now typically right here, these are PCIe slot covers that we take out and put the card in, and then we typically put a screw down, and that's what secures it. Well, this case just has posts that will show once we install the card, so there's no actual screw. So you put your card in, and then you install these, and that's what holds your card in place. A little different.
It almost seems easier.
Yeah, I think it's designed to be a little bit easier. I kind of like it because it's just less screws, less chance of you dropping a screw down in there. That being said, there is an argument to be made where screwing the card directly into the case makes it more secure. So, and it is kind of weird that, you know, like, so this one right here is covering the top 4 slots, and this one is obviously covering the bottom 4.
Yeah, interesting. Plus, the other thing I wanted to point out is that the dark space that is there, the empty spot between where the 2 fold-out drive bays are, which are still awesome, love that. That is going to be where our power supply unit will go. So we're on the 011 XL. The 2 drive bays are at the top and the PSU is at the bottom. This time they put the PSU in the middle. Why do you think that is?
I'm sure it came down to some sort of design with the hard drive bays. That being said, I would have liked it to either be in the top or bottom. Typically, I like the power supply to be in the bottom because there's a lot of weight to a power supply. It just makes your system, you know, a little less top heavy, but it is what it is.
You don't like top-heavy systems, Paul?
Not really.
No?
No, not really.
Oh, I love top-heavy systems because you can carry them around so much easier.
Yeah.
I think lower center of gravity affects.
Oh. Ordy's wondering that if there's. Ordy's wondering if there's more. The more X's in a graphics card by, say, AMD, does that mean it's just better?
It depends on the stuff. So yeah, like the new ones are like XT is like a nicer card than a non-XT, and then you've got XTX, which is an even nicer version of that card. So in the state we're in right now, yeah, more X's is better, but that could always change. They're always changing their naming configurations across all brands. So
yeah, the XTs and the XTXs, those are all for Radeon cards. Yeah, AMD's Radeon graphics card division. Yeah.
Okay.
The XTX Extremes are even better because it's 3 X's. Just like in your Xbox gamer tag, because it gives you extra XP to be like XX murder your mom XXXXX.
oh
like
yeah.
that. And that's actually somebody that I had to play against in Fortnite once. It was ridiculous. Like, how did you even get past all of those requirements? All right.
Sorry, I am setting up the RGB light kit. Because it sets underneath the motherboard.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So it's not going to be hidden in the back.
No,
Wild.
it will.
So, this is the light kit. There we go. So, yeah, and I will say, I was going to get one of these in my build, but then everybody's like, hey, hang on, this is going to be so bright, you're not going to be able to see yourself. And which, given how bright this thing is, was absolutely correct. But I don't think we've done a light kit. No, we did do a light kit. I think it was, and Zach did it actually. So, what are some great things about light kits, and what are some also great practices when you're installing a light kit?
Yeah, so light kits are obviously there for aesthetic purposes. If you want your RGB or whatever color you're going with to look great, you can always add a light kit. Now, typically they're magnetic with some adhesive on the back of them, and you stick them in the top of the case or the side or the bottom, wherever you want. This is a little bit unique. So if we go to an overhead shot, Zach is installing these little brackets, kind of like channels. So you see this right here? This is going between the motherboard and the standoff. So Zach's screwing those in, and then this light kit will actually fit into those channels, and we'll kind of have it wrap around the motherboard to give it a good look.
Nice. We got a question coming in from over on the red side, and CR asks, my PC crashes after opening up any game. Once restarted, it's usually good. Temps are 50 on the CPU and 75 on the GPU. What could be causing this?
Yeah, so if your temps are fine and you're sure that that is correct, then you might look at a driver issue or something. It sounds like the computer's running fine until you just open a game. So maybe revert back to an older video driver, start there. Typically, I don't update my video drivers until it's like absolutely necessary, because a lot of times they'll come out with a new driver and it can conflict depending on the game you're playing. So I would start there, and then you could troubleshoot a little further after you do that.
Yeah, I usually sit and run one revision behind.
Yeah, that's
that way they can get all the kinks worked out. All right, now we've got that radiator obviously attached to its frame, and that's going to link into the very top. But this definitely does seem like it's a little bit of a different process for assembly than the O11 XLs.
Yeah, this light kit adds in quite a bit more extra parts since we're sandwiching those channels for our light strip in between the motherboard and the standoffs.
By the way, we have an update on the comment on red. CR says it's an RX 580 on the newest AMD driver.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely try reverting back to an older driver there, and then if that doesn't work, you know, we can troubleshoot a little bit further. I wouldn't think you have a bad card or anything like that. It just could be something weird. Could be something weird with the game install as well.
Yes. Dad's Zilla KC. How's it going? So, you have a question. It says, I have an actual question about my kiddo's PC. If or when she allows it to go to sleep, if she steps away for a minute, we end up having to restart it because it loses connection to the monitor and will not wake up by key press or mouse press. What's the fix?
Interesting. So, just for me, I never put PCs to sleep. I either just shut them off or leave them on. I don't really like the sleep feature, especially now with NVMe drives. I understand why they had it back when it took forever to boot up and you want to shorten that time. But now things boot up so quick, so I would probably just turn your PC off. But if you want to have it at sleep, there might be a setting in your monitor where your monitor's going to sleep and not waking up, so you might look there. Other than that, I'm really not sure what direction to point you.
Hernandez over on the TikTok says, "What's up, CLF Gaming? Hello, welcome in.
Oh,
Welcome
yeah.
in.
Okay, and then
Those lovely hard drive bays. Yep. We just go all the way up with it.
not quite yet.
This is definitely
Okay, there we go.
Definitely
and then we'll
different.
Go back down. So I can just screw.
There we go.
Where does this go? This one goes there.
yeah. From that last angle, you could definitely see all the USB ports that are down there. There's many. Many. So, Paul, walk us through some of the features of the case when it comes to connectivity.
Yeah, so we've got 4 3.0s right on the front here, and then we've got a Type-C as well. Then we've got a headset and mic port there at the bottom. So all of the ports are at the bottom of this case. We've obviously got our buttons over here on the side, our power button, reset button, and a couple light buttons as well.
That thing flips out. That just rotates over. You don't have to. No, I meant like the cable management. What? That's genius. Love it. Speaking of things that I love codes. And do you know what's really great about codes? They're as amazing as that feature, which is legit awesome. And the code, thanks to Ivory, is red-cutie pie. It is QTPI, Quebec Tango Papa Indigo. Let's see here. Yes, Matty Joe. It is a Lian Li. This is the new Lian Li 011 Evo XL. It's huge. Omar wants to know over the green side, what is the most expensive PC you have built?
So I'm sure we both built some pretty high-end 10K plus builds.
I'm working on a 10K right now.
Yeah.
28 was my largest one.
28 grand?
Yeah, that was a server.
Jeez.
Yeah, you can go pretty all out.
Bill was telling me another server. I got really excited, but I won't be able to get to build it. But it was 47. And that was new Epic 96 core processor.
Oh man, yeah.
And it was a dual set, like, I can't talk about it. That's
Huge.
such a sick build. It would be so cool.
Speaking of sick builds, Tim Smith over on the Facebook side says, "Hey guys, thank you for keeping in touch with me about my order. I appreciate it." Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I think CLX has one of the best customer service departments on the market. Absolutely incredible service. So I'm really glad that you're getting it. And when you do get your PC, please feel free to share pictures of your setup in our Discord. We have a whole thread just for that. It's really fun.
Okay. You ready for this, DJ?
Yes. 10K alone for 196 core CPU. Good lord. Okay.
I'm going to
Shut
do some
up.
cable management up here. I'm going to do some cable
Is
management
that?
over here. I'm going to do some cable management. All of those are just for cable management, and it comes with a couple of brackets so where you can move them wherever you want and have it set up.
Okay, that's genius. That is next gen awesome. I love it. And are those Velcro ties on there?
Yes.
Interesting. So it looks like people started picking up on what
Picking up what
Fantex is putting down.
Fantex is throwing down, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're excited to get back to streaming, Tim? We're excited to see you get back to streaming. It'll be awesome. Definitely excited about that. Godzilla says, in regard, have you guys seen the Intel Arc A770 Titan OC?
I have not seen
that
that
is
yet.
beautiful.
but
Is that the
sounds
ASRock one?
awesome.
I don't know, but I'm going to look it up now because, you know me, I can't just not. A770 Titan. Oh, wow, it is straight up blue. It's a Sparkle. Sparkle Intel Arc A770 Titan OC. 16 gigs DDR, 16 gigs of RAM on that. Nice. That's actually really cool. Sparkle cards.
Why does my brain not do things
Okay.
in the order I want them done?
Now, what Paul is pulling out right now is actually our cable mod kit. Now, cable mods are really, really helpful because you can actually unify the look of your machine. All of mine are, I've got the same cable mod system in mine, and it looks really, really good, or well organized. So, Paul, what are cable mods and what do they do?
So what these are sleeved cables that go with our power supply. Now we have a fully modular power supply that we'll talk about here in a little bit once I get that out. But essentially, you can get custom cables to match your build. So we're going with white on this build. It's going to look great, obviously, with the white theme. And these are just a really high quality cable. It's a nice finishing touch. If you're spending a lot of money on your build, you know, this is the way to go.
Speaking of builds, just because I can, the question was already answered by Ivory, but agreed. The question was, what's a good starter PC? And Ivory mentioned the CLX set is our entry-level system, and you can modify it and customize it, which is absolutely true. Paul, what do you think is like a baseline of where people should aim for to begin with?
Yeah, so if you're wanting just a bare minimum, just totally starter PC, you can go with the APU build, which basically is like a Ryzen 5600G build, where you have graphics onboard on the processor. It can play Minecraft. It can play, most of the standard games at 1080 just fine. And then it also gives you some room for when you're ready to upgrade, you can just buy a card and slap it in there.
Over on the TikTok, I want to talk about what Magic Joe's talking about. Magic Joe was talking about the A7070 is good. Titan is Sparkle, obviously, but no day one driver support on games, but it beats your 4090 on DaVinci Resolve.
Nice.
What? That is incredible. So for those of you who don't know what DaVinci Resolve is similar to to the Adobe's video editing software. So that's what it does, the video editing software. So you can do everything from shorts to cinematics, and it is brilliantly complex. That's what I have with my Blackmagic stuff, and it's great. About as fast as a 3060 on games, though. Interesting. AM5 is a 7600X is a great upgrade path. Hey, Spooner's in the house. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, right. So, Salience brings up a very good question. We've had Red Rum. We've had Cutie Pie. Are you sure these are all randomly generated? Oh my God! I still remember the G4YS. I just cackled. That was the funniest thing ever. Okay. Now we're getting these through here. The one thing I will say about this case that I love, and I love it about all the modern cases, is all of the rubber grommets. To just kind of so your pathways are clear, but it's keeping the heat differentiated. Now, speaking of heat, obviously your power supply unit's going to cause a little bit of heat. So how is that going to affect this system since we are on definitely a 3/4 build? And Paul, why don't you tell everybody what a 3/4 build is?
Yeah, so what that is where the motherboard tray sits 3/4 down in the case, and what that does is leave you with a lot of extra room in the back. So on this case, with that extra room, we've got our hard disk drive / 2.5-inch drive bays and our power supply back there. And so our power supply is obviously in the middle of the build right there where you see, and it's going to bring fresh air in from the side we're working on and exhaust out the back, so none of that goes into the main body of the case.
Love it. And it definitely, absolutely makes a difference. I'll say that. Let's go. I'm thinking of that one that began with Q from a while back. Oh, yeah, that. Mm-hmm. Nope. Not repeating that one. The funny thing is, we've been doing this for so long. Like, I have so many codes left over in my head for no other reason than just because they're there. There's certain ones I'll remember forever. What is the flip out white panel for? That's an excellent question. So that has to actually be unscrewed and physically removed on the 011 XL. But how does this assist you or assist in in what you're doing, Zach? I'll let you explain it.
Yes, so this allows us to add up to 3 SSDs onto our already 4 stack if we wanted to. So we could load this bad boy up with quite a few hard drives and SSDs. But this one is just a standard thing. It cannot be unscrewed. It just pivots right here from magnets to being open. So it makes it nice to where even if you can't have the nicest of looking tie-up, it can get covered up.
Here you go. Okay. Scooter's getting an i7 12th gen with 4060. Nice, dude. Absolutely nice.
What is that? I don't want to say this.
Yeah, and we have dozens upon dozens of different ready to ship models, which is always great. Jeremy the dog wants gaming PC. Yeah, they're fun. I don't know if anybody. One of my favorite games is Dying Light, and Dying Light just came out with a massive update, and I'm really excited because there was also some graphic updates and upgrades in there to make everything a little more fluid and smooth. So I'm really excited to see what kind of frames I can pull off on that one. Oh, for the standard fans, do they come in white with the white case, or are they black by default? You can choose white fans or black fans on the site. I am still intrigued by these little cable anglers that you've got there and how those are working for you.
So the first build I did, it wasn't the build to use them. I feel like having a modular power supply, I will actually be able to make it look very pretty. And that is a standard I like to aim for.
And they always do.
Thank you.
I know we've got that bottom drive tray open, and I figured now might be a good time to chat about what's going in there.
Oh, yeah.
So our secondary storage drive is actually going to be a 3.5-inch. It is a 4 terabyte Western Digital blue. So this is different from, say, an M.2. How?
So this is a hard disk drive. It's got moving parts. If you've been in the PC world for a decent amount of time, you'll be familiar with these. This is what we used to store everything on. And it's actually got a bunch of platters. They look like little mini CDs that spin around and an arm that reads the data off them. So that's why it's called a mechanical drive. There's actual moving parts in it. And these are great for extra storage right now, but they're very slow in comparison to M.2s and other solid state devices.
Yeah. When I went from a mechanical to an SSD, it was night and day difference. But when I went from an SSD to an M.2, it was once again night and day difference. I was blown away. I almost thought Botch was just asking me a question. All right, Zach, walk me through what's the process you're on right now.
So I'm just getting this hard drive installed. Oh, and like a dummy, I'm doing it wrong. This is a quick release, and I installed it reverse.
Whoops.
Can't make those connectors connect.
Just push it in harder. It'll go.
Murphy's Law. If it jams, force it. If it breaks, it needed replacing anyways.
Yep.
That is definitely not some. Please don't take us seriously on that. People over here with their Tesla trying to fit something, charge it with a different port.
With a 110.
It's not working.
If I solder right here, I think it would work.
Speaking of which, I was watching the news and I think it was NBC or CBS had it on their page, and it was a shot of San Diego, which is flooding at the moment. What the heck was that?
Okay.
Which was sorry, something moved. Which was flooding at the moment, and this other car got too deep in the water, and you know what drove through at breakneck speed? A Tesla.
Nice.
I do want this for sure to get.
Which was just nuts. I'm not sure what fell off my desk over there, but
It was a ghost.
right? We have some. Now,
Do you believe in ghosts, DJ?
instructions unclear. I jammed too hard. Now PC won't start. Well,
Oops.
at least you can pop out the. Oh, we're gonna put in the yes, the Elgato 4K 60.
That's the 4070 is it 2?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or
Or
sorry,
you-
2 slot? Yes, yeah, 2 slot. I was thinking power. I'm doing these power cables over here. I was thinking power connector. I think it's a
Unlimited
single 8, but
Okay, let's
Okay,
work
so
together on this
a couple
thing.
things real quick about the. So we've got a capture card. So what the capture card is going to do is actually going to allow you to take a signal from a separate device. So say maybe if you have a 2 PC setup like I do, or you have a PC and a console, you want to be able to get that video image to the PC to stream it, and then back to whatever your monitor or television is. And so it's got an in-out on it. So the 4K 60 Pro is from Elgato. You can find those on our website. Already mentioned that the pet hair in my house would do a number on those 10 pristine fans. Well, let's back up for a second. There are ways around that. Paul, what are some best practices in order to protect?
yeah. So the biggest
you
thing,
from having to go through that.
and a lot of these O11s have this as well. I'm gonna grab one of these magnetic dust filters, show you all this. These are great. I've got a dog and a cat as well, and I've got magnetic dust filters on my Fantex case. But these are the filters that will be filtering out your intake air. And now they've got these all around the case on every side. So this will catch all that pet hair, all that stuff. Then you just pop the panel off, pull this off, wipe it down, and slap it back on. They're really easy to clean and put back on since they're just magnetic. There's little channels that they sit in on the side panels and hold them there.
Conrad mentioned it wasn't a ghost. It was Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar with the latest code.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good one.
Cosworth, I'm going to get to your question in just a second. 2 PC setup is ideal for streaming. Game lag won't lag stream. Also better graphics. It's not definitely not cheap. I have a custom streaming rig here, which and the streaming rig doesn't have to be hella powerful. The gaming PC should, but yeah. So and you can see right there that in and the out ports on the Elgato. Now Cosworth has a great question. Here we go. Have you ever had a build that you regretted building? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it was one of those. What the hell did I just do?
Oh yeah, when I was first getting into building, I was probably been here, I don't even know if I was here a year yet. I was like, oh, they got these scrap cases that were old server cases. I'm gonna put my gaming build in one of these. So it was like a rack mount, so they're like a rectangle box, and I was gonna install it in the bottom of my desk so I could pull it out like a tray, and just no top panel, but it just slide out and I could see all my components. So I did that. I spray painted all green, got it all going. And then I installed my video card and went to put the top panel back on. And since the power connectors went to the side, it was too high for the top panel. So I got like a Dremel tool and I just grinded out this really janky square at the top. And it just didn't work. That was definitely one that I regretted doing. Put a lot of time in that to get nothing out of it.
I've told this story many times in the stream, but I will always regret my first gaming PC, streaming PC build, and that was my my old little Cube one. And I had to uninstall and reinstall that motherboard 6 times. It took me 6-7 hours to put that through. But you know what comes through a lot easier than having to install and reinstall and try and figure out what the heck cable management means? It's also when somebody gives you out a blue code, and that blue code is BLU-BLR, Beller, B, left, right. Bravo, Echo, Lima, Romeo. That is going to be our next code. The prefix is BLU dash, so get it. Here we go. Mr. Papa Wood. Papa Woody, how you doing? Good to see you. Wade, come in.
Everybody's favorite Papa.
Specs on my first build. So my first one was an i7 6700 with 16 gigs of, and I think we're on very low-end DDR3 RAM, a Barracuda hybrid drive, and then obviously my AverMedia capture card, which I love. And I have like 4 of them sitting there. Look at that.
Is it gonna fit?
I don't think, yeah. Oh, the card will fit, yeah. I think that might be a little long. We'll
is
see.
it okay? Well, you tell me wait, and then I will remove it if we don't need it. Because
all right, so what we're looking at right here is our graphics card. This, of course, is an RTX 40. What are we putting here?
Oh, we can use it.
Is it too heavy?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a 4070 card. Paul, who makes this?
This is Gigabyte.
The Gigabyte.
Yeah, this is a 4070 from Gigabyte. It's the triple fan WindForce OC model right here. Honestly, I was expecting this to be a lot bigger when we were looking at the box. We were putting an anti-sag device in because it's a pretty new one. We'll talk about that a little later. It's like, yeah, we'll definitely put that in. And I was like, oh, is this one even long enough to use it? But it looks like it is. We'll get just the tip.
There you go. There you go. Which is interesting because that of where that
Curious? I'm curious.
yeah, like where you can actually place the included anti-sag bracket.
Oh, come on, Lian.
So this one is really cool. If you guys have watched the show, you've seen us use the anti-sag devices. This one is sweet. It's got a little button that you press in and it slides up and down. It's really cool.
Okay.
This goes asks over on TikTok. Do you guys sell pre-built PCs? We absolutely do. We have dozens of ready-to-ship models. All you have to do is head on over to clxgaming.com and we'll get you taken care of there, my guy. Cosworth says, my friend built a machine back in the day with a lock for an on-off switch. 1 week later, he had to rip it out because he lost the keys.
No.
Isn't that that is the way it goes? You try and be super smart about something, and then it just goes sideways.
Okay.
Alrighty. Now, as far as the capacity for fans in this, are we able to fit 3 or 4 on that backside there, Zach?
It is a very close 4, but not quite. So we are 3-ing it out today.
Got it. So we did have a comment earlier about the cat hair and animal dander. So one of the things that's really cool to take a look at is the pressure in your system, positive versus negative. I have I have 9 intakes and 4 exhausts, and I've had this for over 6 months and there's still no dust in it at all. Paul, why is that, and how is that important when you're when you're designing your system?
Yeah, so when you're talking about positive pressure versus negative pressure in your system, what that's referring to is how many intake fans versus exhaust fans you have. So in this case, we've got 6 intake fans, it's the 3 on the bottom, and then the 3 that Zach's installing right now, and we have 4 exhaust fans. So 3 in the top on the radiator, and then we'll put 1 in the back that you can see right there. And what that does is put us in a positive pressure, which means we have more air coming in than we do going out. And the reason we like doing it that way is because we can control the air coming in. So we can make sure that it's all coming through filters and not just being sucked in throughout the case. If you've got more exhaust fans than you do intakes, it creates a vacuum in your system, and then your system will start sucking in air through all the little cracks and crevices, and that's how it can get really dirty.
Yep. I will say, just based on the question about the pre-builts, pre-builts are a great way to go, especially if you're on a budget. My last gaming PC was pre-built that I just then did a little tweak on a couple places. Gonna be honest, it was nothing compared to this beast. This thing's wild. Questions. Looking to get my friend a pre-built. Would a Ryzen 9 5900X and an RTX 3060 be good for gaming?
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be good for gaming. It's a little bit top heavy on the CPU there. That's a very powerful CPU to be pairing with that video card. That being said, it's going to game just fine. It's just going to leave you with quite a bit more processing power than your video card. So I would suggest maybe going down to like a 5800X or 5700X even, and putting a little bit more money in the video card. But if you've got a good reason to have a higher end processor, then by all means, it's still not a bad configuration.
Is it better to go high on your CPU and not on your GPU, or reverse? Because my thought is, would it bottleneck a higher end graphics card on a slower processor? Would it bottleneck that graphics processor's capabilities?
It can. So like if you paired, like, let's say Ryzen 5 Core i5 like a 4090, then you kind of have that opposite thing where your video card has a lot more headroom than your CPU. That being said, if you're just gaming, I would put all my money into the video card. Definitely get yourself a solid processor, but you don't got to go top of the line on that processor, and I'd rather put the money into the video card myself.
Okay. Getting these fans in there. Again, I'm loving the different areas where you could actually route all of the fan cables. It's so indiscriminate. It just, you really don't even see those there. Now, I'm not sure if we're at that point where we pull that out of the box yet, but I did want to talk real quick about how we're going to be powering this thing. Oh, yeah.
Look at this big boy.
So this is something that's very familiar. This is actually what I got in mind. This is a 1300 watt EVGA. We all love EVGA. Supernova 100. It is a 1300 watt power supply. It is an 80 plus gold as well, and it has nothing coming out of it. Why is that?
That is because this is fully modular. So you can see this is a 1300 watt power brick right here. And then we've got all these ports where we can plug our power cables into. So there's a lot of ports on this. With it being a 1300 watt, you could plug a ton of stuff into it. We probably won't even be using half of these. Now that being said, it does provide you a lot of room to upgrade in the future. You add a bunch of drives, add a bunch of other stuff. But what's nice with these is that's where you can start getting into your cable kit. So you can see I've got my cables separated out right here, and these will just plug right in. Let's say we're doing this one, our motherboard. That'll just go in, and this is what it looks like coming out. So it looks great. If you are buying a cable kit though, you want to make sure the cable kit that you're buying is compatible with the power supply, because that does matter.
Yep, absolutely agree on that one. So, Topher asks, what graphics card would be good with the Ryzen 9 5900X?
Yeah, so
good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, so any graphics card is honestly going to pair well, and the reason I say that is because you're not going to bottleneck it with a graphics card with having that high end of a processor. So if you're going that high end of the processor, I would go as high end as your budget will allow you to on the video cards. If you can go with 4080, 4090, do it. If you can't, then maybe drop down to a 5800X and get like a 4070 or something a little bit closer to that.
Danny Butts in the house. Welcome back, Danny. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a minute. GG. All right, so now we're going to get these in here. Now, the cool thing about these, about the cable kits, is the combs. And that's what I love.
That's what I was painstakingly putting in earlier. So these combs can be a little bit tedious to put on. Now some of the cable kits will come with them pre-installed, which is really nice. But what that does is it gives you this really, I mean, you guys can see this cable. I'll grab the 24 pin so you can see it a little bit better on this. So see, this is the end going into our power supply. Still looks really nice, very good looking cable kit. You can see the cables are a little bit bunched up. So they come with these combs that you can install, and it puts every single cable into a perfect alignment. Like, look how neat that looks.
It looks so smooth. Mine has it, and I absolutely love it.
And this allows us, so this is the part that plugs into the motherboard. So it's gonna plug into the motherboard kind of like this. And we're gonna have a bend where it's coming out. So you're gonna see this end right here out the case just looks super neat. If you're going with the cable kit, you know, you're already spending the money to make this thing look good. You might as well go all the way and have those cables straight.
Travis Smith, welcome in. I have a pre-built. It has an Intel i5 12400F. I upgraded the memory to 64 gigs from 16, and the video card is a GeForce 4060. Is this good? That sounds, yeah,
it's a solid gaming machine. I'd say that's quite a bit of memory to go with that system, but nothing wrong with having a bunch of memory. So yeah, it's just a solid gaming. And then if you ever, you know, upgrade to really high-end stuff, you've got enough memory to last you for years. So.
We got My Pink Diary, just our very first time in the chat. Welcome in, guys. Over 1,700 entries so far. Nice, nice. Well, don't forget, there's going to be more codes coming up later on today on the Dying Light stream. So that'll be fun. I'll be throwing one out there. Now, one thing I will note is that this 1,300 watt power supply, it's not exactly square. It's actually rectangular. Is that because it's so powerful?
Yep, that is it. So it is a little bit longer than a standard ATX power supply. That is just due to the wattage of it and all those internal components needing more room. So
there we go.
Now, come in. It looks good in between those bays, though.
Yeah.
I said I like it in the bottom, but that is a nice looking aesthetic right there.
I'm still jazzed over the fact that the drive trays just kind of rotate out.
Right?
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Out of here so I can see.
Boom, boom, boom. Uh-oh. There we go.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. That just makes life so much easier. I like it. The other thing I like is the fact that they're adding more storyline to Dying Light 2.
Nice.
And
I never
guns.
played that, but that game looks fun and the graphics seem amazing.
So there's a
It's
new video
gorgeous.
game I saw earlier. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but I've been wanting to do it. It's like one of my go-to questions on getting to know people. If you could go back in time with any weapon, where would you go? And so the whole premise of the game is time traveling back in time with AKs into medieval time periods and trying to change the course of the future. I'm like, oh, that would be fun.
Mine would be a phaser from Star Trek.
Right?
Because you can turn that thing up and just dissolve things, or just turn it down and stun.
You know how funny I'm the stun man.
Yeah. You could pretend that you were a
A
wizard.
lightsaber would be good.
Everybody would believe you.
A lightsaber could be cool
Okay.
if you knew how to use it.
Now I need both of these. This one.
Yeah, Reza, I'm already searching for it. And Topher, you love Dying Light 2. I hope you updated, because today's the first day of it, and they're doing some really wild things. I'm digging it. Let's see here.
Oh, I'm not ready for these.
Go back.
It's
Darkest of Days. Is that what you're talking about? No, that is old as all heck. Kingmakers?
yes, Kingmakers.
Kingmakers, there we go.
Okay, hold on. We've got 1, 2, 3.
This,
Seriously? You use 4. Man,
Game looks amazing.
Yes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I want the 2.
Yeah, that's kind of wild when you think about it.
And then I'll
Oh my
plug all
God.
that into the other one. These will get the hard
They're going
drive
back in time
bays.
with pickup trucks
Yes.
and just driving through people.
Like Ford Ranger pickup truck, like
Nice.
teeny little truck.
Like my little
I didn't even
Nissan
think about
Frontier out
that,
there.
man. Like, what?
A little 4-cylinder Frontier.
Grenades in the middle of medieval armor? Come on. That's sniper rifles.
Yeah, I think it'd be entertaining.
Just give me an AR. I'll conquer the world.
Grenade launchers. Oh my God.
And the best
Oh my
part
God.
is it's 4-player co-op.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It's called the Kingmakers.
I might have to actually
That's cool.
look into getting that. Yeah, can you imagine how much faster Wars would have been? Oh my God, he has an Apache helicopter. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Oh my God. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, Kingmakers.
Okay, and then so this gets put. Okay,
Looking for it does not have a date that I see,
apologize desperately about that.
but I'll definitely check it out. Okay, so as we're getting more of our cables in, how are you feeling with this case right now? As like for its efficiency and its especially its cable management capabilities.
What's your thoughts on this case, Zach?
Okay, there we go. It finally came through. I like it. I wish I had more room.
Yeah, it's a little cramped in there. I think we were talking about that a little bit before in the show.
Yeah.
With it being this big a case, you can kind of assume that higher end hardware is going in it, like this 1300 watt, and that obviously takes up a lot of space, which cuts into our cable management as
I
well.
just want that out of here too.
Yeah, I'm noticing, especially with that larger power supply, it's a little.
Yeah, once we get into 1300s and like 16s are really bad. In some cases, they just are way too big of a power.
Big. Yeah.
Gigantic.
Okay.
Don't forget, if you have questions, please let us know. We are here to help and provide guidance, answers, or confusion. Sometimes all three in one answer. Okay.
Why does that look so pretty? Paul, why'd you have to
Yeah,
put those combs on there so good? Like,
Combs? I don't know. I got to do something
Yeah,
over
that's
here.
so.
you
I
know?
hope everybody saw that. The reason the way the combs just kind of smoothed it all out. That looks good. There's a lot of cabling left though, because good grief.
I remember when I used to run a comb through my beard. No longer.
I remember when I used to want to comb through my. No, yeah, not my hair is. That's been a while. Although I can't shave my head right now because I cut the living daylights out of it back here, and it's still healing. And if I try and drag a razor across it, I'm just gonna cut it over again. But I also don't just want to leave a small hairy patch in the back corner of my head because that's gonna look even more absurd.
I wonder if
Well, you won't be seeing it, so you just throw away all the mirrors
True.
until it heals and you're good.
there we go. And does this?
Yes, Conrad says, I don't see the Evo XL in the configurator. It has not been released yet. It's coming very soon. We're building this for internal testing purposes. So that's what we're doing with this build today. Splash Prince, sponsored by Manscaped. Actually, now that you mentioned, I guess I could use my electric face razor to try and go over the area and just... Because that won't destroy things.
Man, I have one of those Philips, I think it's Norelco ones, that's just kind of green
Yeah.
and gray. And I didn't even trim my beard at all. I just went straight and it just did it all. I was really impressed at how well it worked.
Yep.
Just went all the way out. I just could make a whole line. It was pretty crazy.
Cosmos says that's what beanies or your pirate hair are for. That's also true. That is also true. I kind of got used to wearing it on stream. It was warm, Very cold basement, so... Well, it's usually a cold basement. Grow a rat tail? I mean...
Oh, yeah. Do it, DJ. Do it. It can be like an off-center rat tail from where the cut is. Oh, that would be great.
That would be so funny and so horrible at the same time.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Tom, I'm actually considering that would just shave everywhere around it. We'll just leave this one side to just get long, and let's braid it down.
Yeah, you can lay it over your shoulder. Yeah, it'd be great.
Padawan style.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will get some incredibly ridiculous comments for sure. That's the fastest way to stay single forever.
Okay. Open.
I approve of the rat tail, Kyle.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my! Well, yep. As production just mentioned, if I had it like that at the airport, they might think I was a Hare Krishna. And if you had never just watched the airplane movie, you'll understand why. I haven't seen Airplane in so long.
Okay, that's.
Okay.
Where I want that. Now let's. So the one thing that I do not like about the case that was asked of me earlier is whenever I go to lay the case down onto its backside, these boys.
Oh wait, they just loose
These
and just kind
boys
of come
just
out.
open up. That is my
They don't snap in place.
new.
That's weird.
Yeah, they need a little bit stronger magnet or something because they somewhat like. It's not super loosey-goosey, but yeah, like Zach's saying, just gravity alone will pull it out. So
That is unfortunate.
Okay, there we go. Don't pull too tight. And just that. How does that?
You watched it during Christmas break? Yeah.
That's good. These guys.
You bought a PC from us 3 years ago? Hello, how are you? Welcome in. Glad to see you.
So then this will go.
Well, we're hoping that you like it. Absolutely hoping you like it. It's pretty good? Yeah, it's pretty good. They're incredible.
And it's a solo VGA.
I'm still jazzed about mine. Okay. I'm always intrigued watching Zach do the cable management just because I would be so overwhelmed with everything. Oh my gosh, that's like an ADHD nightmare right there. The 6-7. Welcome in. How are you?
This would be an extremely difficult case to work in with no lights.
Yeah.
If this was one of those builds, this would be a lot more difficult. Okay.
we could make this case have a white rat tail.
Yeah!
That would be cool.
There we go.
We could stream Monday Night Raw on it too. It'd be great.
So we do have a question coming in from TikTok. Why was a RX 550 and a 10400F $1,000? It's still a good running PC though. Yeah, I mean that's still a great setup.
I want this
But we hope you're having a great day too, 6-7. Absolutely.
on top of.
Yeah, and we're actually coming up towards the end of the month. Getting all the rest of our codes ready.
Here.
All right.
So then we've got.
Now that is our fan lighting or our light lighting.
So this node this big cable here, 20 pin powers the all-in-one liquid cooler and the screen on the pump. And then with this hub, we can plug in 6 4-pin fans and 6 4-pin Corsair RGBs, which is how their fans come.
Oh.
So this allows us
Okay.
to plug in 6 fans and RGBs, and then this is just a 6 hub RGB. So this allows us to attach the other 4 RGBs, and then we're just going to use a daisy chain for the 3, and then we'll directly plug in our exhaust. Everything that is on the roof and floor will get plugged into the box.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't think I need these.
Okay.
So the trick,
That looks like a lot to be fitting in that space.
yes, the trick that we have to work out now is we do have 3 USBs that have to get plugged in, and then 2 SATAs that have to get plugged in, and then all of that cableage plus all of those and all of these. So I need these plugged in,
Yeah, lots of cables in this build.
but I want this one separate on the other one.
Yeah, I'm watching this. Just his ability to keep track of it, even with us talking around him and blabbering constantly, is impressive concentration.
I need to, let's do that now before I forget.
That's yeah.
Oh man, no, those are hot swap bays. I don't need to be doing that. Okay. So what I like to do whenever I'm plugging in something that is like has a pot, yeah, you saw how soft that pull was to unplug that. So whenever I'm plugging in USBs like this, I like to fold them over and then put a zip tie right behind the connection. This just makes sure that everything is secure. If it bounces around in transit while we're going to DreamHack or a LANFest or anything like that, they won't get unplugged.
That's actually really genius. Dadzilla Casey says, I'm like the little kid from Big Daddy when it comes to PC skills.
Okay.
I can wipe my own.
This I do want.
I haven't seen that. That was the Sprouse twins, wasn't it? That was the kid. Hashim is back. Says, I'm hoping to win. Really need an upgrade. I'm on a laptop, a Dell Inspiron i7 5500U with a GTX 980. Yes.
Yeah, that's some old hardware right there.
But I'll tell you what's new is Ivory dropping a pink code. Now, the pink codes are awesome because there were 200 entries, and that is going to be pink-trop. T-R-O-P, Tango, Romeo, Oscar, Papa. It's almost like trope without the E. Grab that while you can. Enter that. Legendary Hawk, what's going on?
I really want right there.
Makes sense.
So I don't want to unbend that.
It's looking really good, though.
So then I'll just go from up here. Okay, and then that I'm gonna drop out.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm just eagerly watching this, so.
There we go. We're gonna have that go out there because that's gonna plug in like that. Nope, hold it.
Uh-oh, that seems weird. Like 3 tabs open for TikTok. No idea why. What specs do you guys have in your own PCs outside of these streams? You want me to start?
Go for it.
All right, so my streaming build presently is a Ryzen 5 3600X with a GTX 1070, AMD capture card, and 16 gigs of DDR, I want to say DDR3 RAM. It's got 8 terabytes of data. Actually, that's a lie. It's got 12 terabytes of data. I've got 2 terabyte Barracudas hybrid drive. One's a hybrid, one's an actual mechanical. And then I have an 8 terabyte backup server drive. So now that is my streaming PC. The gaming PC behind me is wild. This is custom from CLX. It is an i9 13900KF processor mounted on an Asus ROG Strix Maximus Formula motherboard, which is wicked. 64 gigs of DDR5 6000. And then the operating system's on a 1 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro. The game drive is a 4 terabyte Kingston Fury M.2 that's also mounted on the board. It's liquid cooled using a Glacier 1, and it is on a push-pull design. So my radiator, instead of just having 3 fans on one side, it has 3 fans pulling the air and 3 fans pushing the air, so it cools that processor even faster. which is super nuts. I love it. I love it a lot. Yep. So that's what I play on, and I can pull pretty amazing frames on things. So, Paul, how about you?
So I'm rocking an i7 11700K. I've got a Z590 Phantom Gaming for my motherboard from ASRock. I've got an RTX 2080 Super for my video card. Just upgraded to 32 gigs of RAM because I got a really good deal on it. And then I've got two 500 gig NVMe drives, and then like, I don't know how many extra hard disk drives, a lot. Too many. Like a 4 terabyte, a 6 terabyte, probably a couple 1 terabytes. I just bring them over from every upgrade I do. So, you know, probably on the next upgrade, it's time to get rid of some of those mechanical drives.
Okay, I just want this.
Oh, and sorry, that I just realized I didn't even include that, Splash Prince. My GPU is the ROG Strix 3090 Overclock Edition, the special white edition. And this thing is, again, wicked. Wicked.
Yeah, that's a beast of a card that you got there. I think that's what I'm going to upgrade to next, is either a 3090 or a 3090 Ti.
Yeah. Yeah, the OC edition is pretty impressive with what I can make it do. But Jelly comes in on the TikTok saying, can't wait to buy my first PC. I just got to start saving now. Listen, story of my life. Zach, what do you game on?
I am rocking a Gigabyte B450 dish motherboard. It's got a Ryzen 5 3600 processor. We've got, I don't know how much RAM, probably 32 gigs. And then I'm rocking a very awesome Super Special Edition 2060.
Punk Noob, what's going on? It's quite the case. Yeah, it is. It's a huge case. It's a big one. Legendary Hawk over here on the kick side mentions he's gaming on an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X processor, 32 gigs of RAM, and a Radeon 6600 XT with a 1 terabyte M.2. That's a solid system.
Oh, yeah. I've got like a bajillion SSDs with Steam libraries, external SSD hard drives for transporting games.
Yeah, I got to pull my M.2s off of my old gaming PC.
Look at how far we've come on this build. All those cables
I know.
now are just down to the fans and the lights.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. I feel like that's okay. I want those gone. I want those away. And this away.
So many cables, so you know. Look how far we got into PCs from all these years. Yes.
Okay.
Well, if you just think go back 10 years to 2014, PCs were leaps and bounds behind where we are now. And if you go back all the way into like 2004, go back 20 years. I know. Some of you might not have been born then. The PCs back then, man, if you had them 2 cores, or maybe if you were rich, you could get a quad core, you were a pimp. Vashim, you've never owned a PC, but you're hoping and praying and wishing? Well, I wish you the best of luck. Wish you the best of luck on it. You had a quad? Yeah. My very first processor that I bought myself was an AMD Athlon XP, and I did not realize that I couldn't just stick it in the motherboard. Yeah. So that happened.
I thought I plugged this in. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay.
Did you ever play any Elden Ring, DJ?
Elden Ring.
Yeah, like from the FromSoft game, people who made Dark Souls and all that. It's the newer one.
You about to talk about the DLC that's coming out, Paul?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am, man.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to play it because of WoW, but we will get to it.
Yeah. We do have a couple questions over here on the Facebook side of things. We've got Quamaine Jones. How do I find out if my memory is DDR3 or DDR4? Good question. Paul?
Yeah, so that's going to depend on your motherboard, but the easiest way to tell, if you know the speed of your memory, we can tell you right now. So if it's going to be like 1333, 1600, 1866, that's the speed that's going to be DDR3. And you get to DDR4, that's when it goes to 2133, 2400, 3000, 3200, 3600. So that's going to be the easiest way to tell.
1886. We
Yeah.
were a young lad.
Yeah, it cracks me up that 1866 was like fast memory.
Yeah.
I still haven't beaten
Right.
Elden Ring yet either. I'm on like, I think I'm on like the last 3 bosses. I always play through those games blind first, and so even it's been this long, I still haven't looked anything up. So we're almost there.
Well, and if the other thing you can do, and Richie LaFair has a point, says I would show you on your RAM stick. If you want to pull it apart, you can definitely check that out. The other option is just go to Task Manager and go to Performance, go to Memory, and it will show you what your RAM is down there. You got stuck on Rodan. The fight wouldn't trigger for me, and I think I'm missing something. Oh, Punk.
Yeah, I think it's Malekith is what I'm stuck on right now. I've made it pretty far. DJ, if you've never played those games, it'd be a great one to stream.
You'll love it.
it's
You'll have so
Elden
much
Ring.
fun.
Wow.
Elden Ring or any of the Dark
Elden Rings.
Souls. Yeah, those are.
I will never play another Dark Souls game again, ever.
Why?
It is just
What happened?
it is the most frustrating nightmare.
Show me on the stall where Dark Souls hurt you. Yeah.
Rich, by the way, Richard wants to mention he got DDR5 32 gigs at 6,000. Yeah, buddy, that's the speedy stuff.
Yeah.
I listen. The one time, I always have a rule. If it's not fun, why am I doing it? So if I'm not having fun at a game, I'll switch games. Super simple. However, that game, and this is console. That game, I have never almost killed myself accidentally hit myself in the head with a controller as quickly as I did that day. I turned around and we had one of those corner couches, you know?
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
the corner couch, you got the pad and you got the 2 things, and there's that little corner center, and I was so furious, I just threw it, and instead of it sticking into the couch, it bounced off all 3 cushions and came right at my face. And I did this, and it hit the TV.
Oh no.
Thankfully, it did not
Okay, good.
break anything.
Good.
But that's what I'm like, and I'm not playing this.
Yeah, you need one of those
Nope.
Wii remote
I'm done.
straps for your controller if you're playing some Dark Souls.
Right.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Was it Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3, or was
One.
it one of the others? One.
It was 1.
Oh, that one's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, you just gotta get good.
Yep. It's National Margarita Day for those who celebrate. I'm celebrating that tonight. You struggled on DS3 for a couple hours and then it clicked.
Yeah, once you get rolling, it's fun, and then you can like summon friends in. It's always the worst when someone invades your world, though, and then they just like hide somewhere and you don't know where they are. And like, oh, you're about to make progress, and they come out and kill you.
I just remember dealing with a lot of skeletons, and I just kept getting destroyed.
Yeah, it's a unique game. So like, have you played any Monster Hunter? Have you done any of those?
I did play some Monster Hunter.
So Monster Hunter for me, like, it never clicked. I was so bad, I wasn't doing it, and then someone just said it's just Dark Souls in a different world, and that made it click. It's like you press a button and your guy's got to do like the whole move, and then you can keep going. You can't just like spam stuff.
Speaking of the whole move, I want to jump back over here to Facebook for just a second. Richie LaFair mentions, my PC just recently bricked the beginning of this week, and it was a pain troubleshooting myself because it was either the RAM, the motherboard, or the CPU, and essentially each of those gives the same symptoms when they're faulty. The only giveaway was my USB port. I need to expand this whole thing. My USB ports started going out, so I assumed it was my motherboard. Micro Center has a bundle right now for $400 for a mobile CPU and RAM, so I got super lucky and was able to upgrade an already crappy situation. Well, that is good. What are some good troubleshooting tips for people when they have some of these issues?
So the first thing is just to keep it as simple as possible. So, depending on what it is, turning it off, turning it on back on again is a meme, but it is actually the best thing to do if you first start running into issues. Then we got, get into drivers. What kind of issue are you having? Google is your friend. If you're, you can use Event Viewer that's built into Windows. You can use that to see if something crashed. You can just pop that code into Google, give you some Good tips there.
Does it go Ogly?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, there we go. What was that? Yeah.
No.
There we go.
I'm so invested in figuring out how he is going to wrap this whole thing up.
Okay.
I want to watch you play Dark Souls, DJ.
You-
Let's get a petition
Like,
for DJ. Dark Souls with DJ.
listen, if I get to 250 subs, I'll play Dark Souls.
There we go. Sub goal for DJ.
I will honor that.
Yeah.
What's sad is because somebody's gonna walk in and just dump 250 subs in my channel,
gonna
and I'm
be
gonna have
me.
to play that stupid game. Subs, Bunk. Yeah. Alrighty. Getting awfully close here. I think we're almost at that point.
We're almost there. It always seems crazy, and then it just starts flying together at the end.
Right?
So we still do have this light strip that we'll plug in. And after that, we can start slapping panels on. I guess we have
Push
this
it.
beautiful video card right here, too. But this goes in pretty easy. Beautiful.
Ta-da! Okay, there we go. Nice.
Oh, wait, hold
You
on.
shoved it into obedience. And in Richie, I've done that before as well when I've had things just being funky. Oh, let's see. There's more to the story. Let's check this out. Richie says, turned it off and then back on, reseated the RAM, tried booting with only one RAM, each to troubleshoot each stick separately. That's smart. Even uninstalled my GPU and plugged my HDMI into my integrated graphics. So to also troubleshoot the GPU, I went through like 4 hours of troubleshooting, but eventually got it. Laughing, LMAO. I've enjoyed watching the stream too, man. You're building his leagues better than I am at cable management, dude. Right? This cable management is wicked, absolutely wild, and I can guarantee I am not that talented.
Yeah.
Like, well, how do I plug this in? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get our graphics card.
Yeah, so this is where we can show you about those covers that we talked about at the beginning of the build that hold this card in. So right there you see that screwdriver going in, and then the door's going to pop down. And see how there's these little posts right on top of those slots? That's where typically you'd have screw holes and put screws in, but to slaughter.
To slaughter or not to slaughter? These are the questions.
True.
Oh my gosh. Am I giving out a pink code today? You know, I don't know. It's either going to be a pink, it'll either be a pink or a red. One or the other. But yeah.
Aggressive.
Or I might do a blue. Actually, I'll save the blue for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, I'll do a pink today. Why not? Just notice those cherry blossoms. That's clean. Yeah, isn't it though? Oh, Tom, it like Sakura or Sakura. I feel like I'm always saying it wrong. It's a gorgeous design. Absolutely gorgeous. Did you stream yesterday on your channel? No. Wednesdays are usually an off day. Yesterday I was with my mom at chemo, so. I know. Yeah, I did on Tuesday.
I'm sorry, but this thing, I keep losing and it's freaking me out.
What is it?
My magnet tray. I'm like, I'm putting stuff in it and I need it, and then it disappears, and then I just forget that I've set it off somewhere else.
What is that tool?
This is a pick. So this is how I like to get down into some pretty tight spots. It lets me be able to fully lock in and seat graphics cards, make sure that little clip is fully secure. And if our motherboard doesn't have the infamous awesome push button, this allows me to get in between the heatsink and the graphics card and apply pressure to it to push
Gotcha.
down. But
That makes sense.
I like verifying that those
Richie-
lock down. Okay.
Richie asked over here, this is the first time I've ever seen y'all. Wondering if you all did streams on other platforms. If you do, shout them out for me, and I'll go ahead and follow y'all. Thank you so much. We are live right now on Kick at kick.com/CLXgaming. We're live on Twitch at twitch.tv/CLXGamingTV. We're also on YouTube at CLX Gaming. Obviously here on the Facebooks, and then over on TikTok at CLX Gaming. So the only one that's different is the Twitch one. That's just .tv. Look at that. Look at that.
Where are you going?
That is a unique.
Nowhere. It's got a block on the top and a block on the bottom.
No way. That's kind of genius, if you ask me. That's a great thing right there.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
The AIO LED screen looks like my Nest thermostat.
The old Nest AIO right here.
Wow, I saw that. Now I get why the frustration. They just keep flopping out.
And the VGA card or VGA there. Okay, I want
Trying to make sure it's actually locked in.
little
Thank you, Nicole. You stream on Kick as well. Been there since the conception of it. Thanks, man. Yeah, definitely. And you'll find me also on there as well. So I go to both.
Okay, now
God, this does look sweet.
okay.
And I wanted that was a great shot right there to really show you up close what those combs look like and look how smooth and clean that looks. It's nice. Very well organized. I dig it.
Instead of, I usually go in from the top corner.
Okay, yeah.
So if we go back to that side shot, Jason. This guy. Yeah, perfect.
There we are.
Okay, let me scooch us so the DJ is...
I'm not blocking it with my
Okay,
fat head.
so we can see, I've got all of those little mounting brackets in here. There.
Mm-hmm.
There's one underneath there and one underneath there. So I'm just going to make it to where this guy comes out, other side, on the bottom here, and then this will get plugged in
Okay.
that way. So let me, golly, that way.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
now that you said it, those drive doors are kind of driving me nuts.
Yeah, especially when you get a drive in there, it adds the extra weight, so they like
Right.
to come out.
Pup Loki over here on the YouTube side. What's up, dude? How are you? Good to see you.
It's been in there.
Mitchie on Kick says, I'm getting one for Christmas. Yes. Wait, this year or you got one for Christmas last year?
Go underneath those.
Let's see here. Finex says, hey, what's up, guys? This is, it's Richie from Facebook. Hi, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Glad to have you here, as always. There we go. Converting people all over the place. That's great. I have too many. Darn it.
There we go.
So the one thing that makes my brain hurt sometimes is the fact that I have two mice. One for each hand. The left-handed mouse runs production. The right-handed mouse runs gaming. And when I've got everything up in front of me, sometimes I grab the wrong mouse, and then I'm like, why can't it get where it's going? Yeah, there we go. It's a user error.
There we go.
You just dude, that's awesome. Papa said I just did a build getting a PC from CLX gave me the confidence to make my own. Heck yeah, that's awesome, dude. Congrats. Zach, I think it was like in the first couple weeks of us actually doing the show, almost 2 years ago, that was actually the first. That was the first time I'd ever seen a lighting strip done, and it was on an 011, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on, baby. Do what I want you.
Good thing I don't have any cats. Yes. A, I'm allergic. B, no cats. I'm a dog person only. I think cats are just a little bit too nuts. You mentioned that rig is for testing purposes. So what testing are you going to be doing out of curiosity? Good question.
Yeah, so the first thing is obviously getting everything assembled with a lot of high-end hardware like we're doing right here. This allows us to really see fitment, make sure cable management looks tight, how much can we throw in this thing and keep it still a solid build comfortably. So that's what we're doing here. After that, once it gets on, we're gonna run it through all the benchmark softwares and see how it performs. And the big thing too, on top of just running some games on it and just having some fun, is seeing how the temperatures goes inside this case. Now, obviously a bigger case, I'm expecting great temperatures inside this, just like the other 11s.
Nice. Jeremiah Noble's over here on the blue side says, cool, just put one together myself after like 15 years. New case didn't even have a DVD drive slot. Then I thought, when was the last time I put a CD or DVD in my PC? Excellent question. So, you are sans. You are without one or two cup holders. Understandable.
True. Yeah, I remember when everything started switching over, I was like, can you believe these computers don't have a CD drive? How weird. And now it's just, it'd be weird to see one.
So I was at PAX. God, this would have been 2017, 16, 17, and I was at the Xbox. No, I was at the Major Nelson live show recording. So I'd been hosting for ID at Xbox. And done all the camera work, was done with that, and went over there and saw Major Nelson, and he's like, DJ, hey, catch, and tosses me this little tiny USB stick. Little tiny thing. It's like, thanks, what is this? He says, that's Windows 10. What? What did you just say? I still have it. I still have that. Michler. Probably just Mike. So what case is this? This is the Lian 011 Evo XL. So this is a bigger version than the 011 XL. So to give a comparison, this is what an XL is. And that is deeper, taller, heavier, floppier. Definitely floppier with those doors, man.
Covers.
I really like those covers. That's a really nice touch.
Looks good.
Oh, do we want to go over the other last feature, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Last feature.
All right, that's
What
a
do you
perfect
mean?
shot. Excuse me, I sneezed real quick. Oh no, I sneezed again. I sneezed one last time.
What are you doing?
I sneezed the final time. This is a party trick for all of you people out there.
You can pull it out. Now, the funny part about that's when we first started doing the NV7s, because usually there's always a brace on all four corners, and these guys, they just kept reaching for it and getting nothing with their hands.
This is so sick. So yeah,
That is actually really cool.
It can be a nice mirrorless front or seamless front.
So like it's definitely good for shipping and structure, but definitely should tell people, you can once you get it home, you can pop that out, and then there won't be a bar on the corner.
All right, well.
I was just looking at mine. I'm like, mine doesn't do that. Dang it. All right, while they're getting that in there, one thing I do want to touch upon while we have a chance. Do you guys do thermal grizzly pads?
I have not messed with those thermal grizzly pads yet, but they do look cool.
And then what's your personal opinion on curved versus non-curved monitors? I'm about to get a new one, and I'm torn between the two. You love the Sakura faceplate. Yeah, it was a really great design.
Yes.
It was a really great design.
So I just actually took home a 32-inch curved monitor for a while when I was playing it, and I really like it, honestly.
I was rocking a 27-inch curved. I really like that a lot. I think whichever ones have the flex.
Oh yeah, those ones.
I
are
want 2 of those.
Dude,
Crazy,
that
yeah.
one is sick.
Just for a racing
That is
sim, have it butted together flat
Yeah.
and then curved around
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's pretty sick.
I have to replace this monitor, and I'm looking at actually getting a curved, just because I feel like it would be easier. But then I'm going to have 5 monitors, and this place is going to look ridiculous. So, but with that, let's take a look real quick. I want to jump to another space that we haven't really talked much about today, and show you how you can get your hands on one of our amazing PCs. So let's jump over to our website at clxgaming.com. We have done our best to make this the easiest, simplest way to do things, and it is a way for you to build your PC in the way that it's going to work for you, with the features you need and the power that you need, that works for you. From cases of many different sizes, we've got small ITX towers, we've got the big towers, obviously like this one. You get to choose your products: Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, all right there. Tons of different options, and you can't screw up the compatibility. We've got a built-in compatibility checker. So through that button that's green, it says add to cart. Now it's yellow, it says solve conflicts. So what I like to do is use so if you take a motherboard, right, and your motherboard is, I am a DDR5 motherboard, but I've selected DDR4 RAM. So it's either going to say, well, you can use one of these motherboards with the DDR4 RAM, or you can use one of like this RAM for a DDR5 board. Once you've solved the problem, that little button goes back to green and you are good to go on to testing. Now, we've got a lot of extra options here as well, especially in our foundry. So you can actually get upgrades and change out how you get your thermal paste. Upgrade your thermal paste. You can get your elements overclocked, GPU, CPU, or both. There is all sorts of add-ons, including capture cards and streaming gear. You can do capture cards. We've got Beacon Mix Creates, Beacon mics. And then in our accessories area, you can also get windbreakers like this. I really love it. But we've got keyboards, mice. I was almost going to say toaster because it looked like a toaster, but I realized that is dumb. Get it together, DJ. Chairs, headsets, and we've got tons of headsets. Everything from whoops. Oh, yeah, and the Game Boost chairs. Everything from Logitech all the way down to Corsair. So, and Razer. So check it out. Lots of different options. Now, if for some reason you're not wanting to dive face first into getting one, you can also jump over to our ready to ship models. Now, these have already been tested and they're wonderful. You can even adjust them if you see something you might want to change, or just add a little more memory, add a little, upgrade the processor, upgrade the GPU. You can do all that from here, but it gives you a good idea at a base price of, all right, this is stock. And if you want to alter things, you can go in there and play around. So with that being said, check us out, clxgaming.com, for all of your future gaming and PC needs. I dig it. Now, Paul, one thing I do always love to bring up is, where do these lovely PCs go once they're built?
Yeah, so once they're built and turned on, they go to our testing and integration department. And the first thing we do there is get into the BIOS of the machine. We'll make sure our RAM speed's set correctly, all of our storage devices are showing up, and maybe mess around with a couple other settings depending on the configuration. And then after that, we actually load the system. So the operating system, if you picked any games on our website, that's where we would load that. We don't put any bloatware on the system, so you're not going to get anything you don't want. If you just want a fresh install, that's all you're going to get. We don't want to, add a bunch of extra antivirus softwares or anything like that you don't want on your machine. And then once we've got it loaded, we'll put it through a 12-hour stress test or a burn-in, and that allows us to make sure that everything is stable and working in a gaming environment. So sometimes I will use RAM as an example, but it can be any component. Sometimes a component in here will turn on and the lights are on and everything looks good, but once you get gaming, it causes stuff to fail. So that allows us to catch that there and make sure you get the stable machine.
Yeah, this is gorgeous, and the more I'm looking at it, the larger I'm realizing that it is. Because I'm looking at the space on mine with my three fans up top. There is a lot of room in front of and behind that radiator. This is a long bodied case. Good grief. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see if this powers on. I can already see the lights. And here it goes. Oh, wow.
Now it's reading all the fans, so we should see the bottom and top fans come on here in a minute. Ooh, you can see that light strip going around the board. That looks great.
Yeah, look at that. That actually is a wicked. That's so wild. All right. Well, once again, let's jump into, there they are. That is a bright box. All right, let's one more time go over everything that is inside this new version of an O11. It's actually great. So this is an O11 Evo XL for the case. It's got a, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X X3D processor mounted on an Asus ROG Strix X670EA gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. We have 32 gigs of DDR5 6000, of course, that beautiful RTX 4070. The operating system is going to be on a 1 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro, along with the 4 terabyte 3.5 inch that we've got mounted in the back. We've also got our capture card, which is a 4K 60 from Elgato, and it's going to be cooled by a Corsair iQ H150i and, of course, those 10 fans. Nicely done. Absolutely incredible. Great system. That is just brilliant and bright, and I'm loving the Corsair. Look at the way I'm really loving the lighting feature on that. Just the fading glow. That is cool. So speaking of fading glows, I don't even know how that's a segue. We're going to take a break in just a few minutes, and when we come back, you're going to get to spend the afternoon with Zach as Zach continues to build some really incredible machines. You're going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. If it's giveaway time, we give out our codes on Kick on Tuesdays. Thursdays, it's right here on Twitch. And you can also catch us, of course, on the other platforms as well. Now, if you want to keep up for all the latest and greatest things that are happening, and also keep in mind you might see a code somewhere, you can follow us at CLX Gaming on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Also, if you want to jump in with a really amazing community of like-minded PC enthusiasts, head on over to Discord. It's discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can find codes in all those places here on our streams, over on my streams. I'll be giving a pink code out today while playing the new update for Dying Light 2. But first up, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to get the Zach attack. So on behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Stick around. We got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.